Every product introduced to a market follows a biological rule. Its lifespan is strictly limited. Many businesses operate on the assumption that higher sales volume inevitably leads to higher profit margins. This chart tracks the decoupled relationship between revenue and profit over time. The purple sales line and orange profit line follow distinct paths. Notice where the profit curve peaks and drops, even while sales continue climbing. Because the margin profile shifts as a product ages, an effective marketing strategy in month 1 can become a destructive strategy by month 24. Avoiding this decay requires a temporal model to predict when the tactics that once worked will begin to erode the bottom line. This disconnection between peak volume and peak margin forces managers to alter tactics based on time. The product lifecycle, or PLC, serves as a deterministic matrix that dictates specific strategic actions based on a product's location on the timeline. The model divides a product's journey into 4 rigid sequential phases: introduction, growth, maturity, and decline. To navigate these phases, a firm must manipulate the 4 components of the marketing mix: product, price, distribution, and promotion. As a product moves across lifecycle boundaries, a firm must immediately adjust these 4 variables to remain viable. By mapping a product's current coordinates, we can uncover the exact strategic pivots required. Market survival depends on accurately diagnosing the current stage to predict the next tactical shift. The introduction phase is characterized by slow initial sales growth and a high cost to acquire each customer. During this phase, overall profits are deeply negative. The target audience, innovators, require significant promotional spending. Product strategy centers on offering a basic version. This phase requires cost-plus pricing, adding a fixed percentage to production costs to offset initial investments. Distribution remains selective, focusing on specific controlled channels. Expanding too quickly at this stage accelerates the capital bleed before the market is proven. The introduction phase prioritizes establishing a market beachhead and surviving the initial capital bleed over immediate profitability. If the product succeeds, it reaches an inflection point where sales rise rapidly and economies of scale take effect. This is the moment profits cross into positive territory. Early adopters flood the market, attracting competitors. The objective shifts to maximizing market share. The firm abandons the cost-plus model for penetration pricing, setting a low price to rapidly attract customers and discourage competitors. Distribution pivots from selective channels to intensive, widespread coverage. Communication strategies shift from targeting niche enthusiasts to building awareness within the mass market. In the growth phase, geographic and demographic expansion to capture share takes precedence over immediate margin optimization. As the timeline progresses, sales volume reaches a plateau. This is the maturity phase. Profit margins begin to compress here as a stable, dense group of competitors fight for the remaining customers. The strategy becomes defensive. Firms must protect their market share while extracting the remaining profit. To prevent decline, a firm must execute a mature brand course using market, product, and marketing program modifications. Market modification involves entering new segments or converting non-users to extend the product's peak. Product modification involves adding flanker products, such as new sizes or flavors, to protect the core brand. Pricing changes again. Firms must now price to match or precisely beat their established competitors. Successful modifications create scalloped or cycle-recycle patterns, resulting in secondary upward bursts in sales volume. These sustained patterns are distinct from the short-lived, unstable spikes seen in a fad. Advertising in maturity focuses strictly on brand loyalty and preference, rather than simple awareness. Maturity is a war of attrition that requires constant morphological adjustments to extend the product's most profitable stage. Eventually, the market enters a decline, where both sales and profits enter a terminal drop. The remaining customers are laggards, those who are slow to change, while the total number of competitors steadily drops. Executive leadership must choose between 3 specific options: rejuvenate, harvest, or divest. The harvest protocol involves milking the brand's remaining equity by cutting all marketing and R&D costs. Harvesting is the process of reducing support costs to maximize short-term cash flow from a declining asset. This includes cutting prices to liquidate inventory and reverting to low-cost, selective distribution. Alternatively, a firm may divest the product by selling it off. Divesting is the act of selling or liquidating a business unit to stop the drain on resources. Failing to recognize the decline phase results in investing marketing capital into a structurally dying market. This lifecycle model operates within the friction of real-world macroeconomics. During periods of slow economic growth, the entire time axis compresses. A compressed curve accelerates products toward decline faster than historical models would predict. Slow growth requires getting closer to customers and rigorously reviewing all operational budgets. Firms must continuously fine-tune their offerings to remain relevant in a tightened market. Maintaining a compelling value proposition is essential, regardless of whether a product is in introduction or maturity. The reality is, the marketing mix is never static. Market performance relies on calculating your exact coordinates on the lifecycle curve and executing the required pivots before market forces impose them.